What's going on, Jerome's? A week of Vikings training camp is in the books. This evening is the first of two of the vaunted night practices, and we're starting to get a feel for how this team is going to be when you don't know me. So here are 10. DAce, Hot Fire Vikings predictions. Plus, I like doing these because we can be a little bit reckless and we can just sort of, like Spider-Man, just shoot our prediction seeds all over the place. It's all good, man. So my kid's gotten into Spider-Man lately. I still think he should be into Batman because, I don't know, I never bought into all the superheroes because they had superpowers. Like Bruce Wayne's power was he's rich. I feel like I can attain that, all that stuff. Anyways, first up, number one. Caleb Evans will be the Vikings starting cornerback for the next 3 years. So, rookie, on his rookie deal, last year's fourth-round pick out of Mizzou, formerly of Tulsa. Ooh, Tulsa King. That's right, man. And Caleb Evans, he's got the great attitude. He's got length out the outside. He's got great agility. When he was put in the game situations and even started a couple games last year, he made a couple big-time plays. Eventually, he was put on IR to save himself. He had 3 concussions throughout the season, and that was addressed this offseason. A lot of it was he's a little Bob Sanders-ish in terms of being tenacious and going after ball carriers, right? So sometimes you have to save him from himself. He's worked on tackling technique. He's got new equipment, and he's been starting. So when the Vikings are in their base defense and there's 2 corners, it's been Murph and Evans. When they go to nickel, it's Evans on the outside. When they go to dime, it's Evans on the outside. And I think it's a clear sign that he is definitely cornerback number 2 and on equal footing with Byron Murphy. So I think that Evans, pending on what happens with Booth, pending on what happens with Mekhi Blackman, even though I do think that Blackman is going to get his fair share of snaps in there as well, I think that Evans is going to be starting, and I don't think he's going to be going anywhere. I think that he does have a ton of talent that wasn't necessarily tapped into in college. I think that even though he played a lot of zone at Tulsa and Mizzou, I think that he does have press man skills, and those are going to be unlocked in the Flores defense. And plus, it's been so long since the Vikings had a great homegrown cornerback stud. I mean, Xavier Rhodes, 2017, and then you go back to Antoine Winfield, even though he came over from the Buffalo Bills, and it's just like, we just need one. Just need one, man. Next up, number 2, Jaren Hall win the quarterback 2 job. Now, that's not to say that Nick Mullins has been bad. Nick Mullins has actually been pretty damn solid, but I think that Jaren Hall just has a great leadership, has a great way that he carries about himself in the locker room and at the line of scrimmage. I think that he has a very live arm. I think that he's got some moxie. I think he's got some game to himself. Like, he does not look like a rookie out there. Yes, there will be ups and downs and mistakes, but I think that Jaren Hall will do enough, especially in joint practices coming up, as well as in preseason, to make you raise an eyebrow. And, the Vikings, I think they will still carry Nick Mullins and Jaren Hall on the roster, both on the 53, but ipso facto, I do think that if poop did hit the fan, I think Jaren Hall would be quarterback number 2, and that does bode well for him as the Vikings heading to an uncertain offseason. What's going to happen with Kirk? Will he resign? Will he not? And will the Vikings be looking elsewhere for a starting quarterback? And remember, it's not out of the realm of possibility because, last year, Sam Howell was a 5th-round pick, and now he's starting for Washington, although maybe that says more about Washington, but also Kirk Cousins was a 4th-round pick, so whatever. Next up, number 3. Dwayne McBride will be running back 1 in 2025. So we said 2025, 2 years from now. Madison, that's the extent of his extension. And I believe in Ty Chandler. I believe in Kinkene and Wangu. But I think that Dwayne McBride has a chance to be something pretty damn special. So I can't get the comparisons of Le'Veon Bell as a runner, not as a receiver, because, of course, we haven't seen him as a receiver in college, but him as a runner, just patient, just being able to read his blocks, taking his time, and then committing, and also great balance and staying on his feet. I think McBride has that, and I think that he's shown a little bit in training camp that he can catch. And the more important thing is him as a pass blocker. Can he become a 3-down running back? And if he can, I think that he potentially could become the starting running back for the Vikings down the line. Next up, prediction number 4. Dalton Reisner is eventually signed and Ezra Cleveland gets traded. Now, I think that the Vikings may have to wait until there's an injury at left tackle for a notable team or just underperformance in the first couple preseason games. And this is not hatred on Ezra Cleveland. And Ezra, I think that he's a very solid, competent offensive lineman. I think that he is a left tackle being jammed in playing left guard because that's what happens when we got Christian Darrisaw on the roster. And I think for his sake, for his pocketbook's sake, wait, do people use pocketbook? Whatever. His wallet's sake, his agent's sake, getting him to a place where he could play left tackle and start, Yes, that makes all the sense in the world, especially as he is in the final year of his rookie deal, so in a contract year. But I think Reisner is weighing his options. I think that he realized the Vikings has a chance to be a very special spot, and a spot where he's worked with the coaching staff before. He can step in right away at left guard and just go from there. Next up, number 5. Vikings defense leads the NFL in blitz percentage. I think it's 1,000% going to happen. So the Giants led the league last year. Wink Martindale, 39.7% of defensive snaps. They brought an extra rusher or more. And Brian Flores, the last 2 years that he was in charge of a defense, head coach of the Dolphins, 2020 and 2021, the Dolphins were second in the defense in terms of blitzing at around 40% each season. So I think the Vikings will absolutely bring that ish. They were towards the bottom third of the league last year in blitz percentage at about 18%. So yeah, double that up, triple that up. Don't care. Just bring heat all over the place. Next up, hot fire prediction number 6. Jordan Addison wins the rookie wide receiver triple crown. Now, I understand that that's going to be difficult. The way that JSN is getting highlights in Seattle, the way that Quentin Johnson, every single time he actually catches a ball, people cream in their jeans. Zay Flowers getting all the love over in Baltimore. But don't care. I think Jordan Addison, his silky smoothness, his great route running, his ability to have yards after the catch, his just all-around awesomeness. I think that he is going to get a lot of work here in Minnesota. I think that he'll get over the 107 targets that Adam Thielen got last year, even though Thielen saw that as not a significant part of the offense. I think Addison will win the Triple Crown, leading the all-rookie receivers in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. And I think the Vikings got a special player on their hands, as long as he doesn't drive. Next up, number 7. 3 Pro Bowlers on defense. So Daniil, who I think is going to get over 14.5 sacks. Harrison Smith. I think Harrison has a chance for like a complete rebirth this year, man. I mean, last year was great. Him in coverage had 5 interceptions, but I think Harrison could eclipse his career high in sacks. I think that Harrison could be a 5-5 guy. 5 sacks, 5 interceptions. I seriously believe that, especially even though we're just scratching the surface of training camp, the way that the Flores defense has been lining up and been exotic and aggressive, it's erratic. Go from there. And also, 3rd Pro Bowler, Josh Metellus. Now, part of this will be his special teams prowess. Part of it will be him as that third safety. But I think that he's going to make a ton of plays. I think he's going to be a team captain. I think that he's going to be a fan favorite, and I think that he'll get it done. Next up, number 8. Ivan Pace Jr., the UDFA out of Cincinnati, over 4.5 sacks as a rookie. Now, I'm not going to say that he is going to start over Jordan Hicks or Brian Asamoah, but I think Pace Jr. is going to get in enough sub-package spots where Brian Flores realizes, hey, we need guys who can get forward, guys that can guys that can beat their man, guys that can fire a gap, and Pace Jr., even though he's an off-ball linebacker, can certainly do that, even at 5'10", 230. And I think that I think he's going to be a situational guy. He's going to play like his hair is on fire on special teams, but also I think that he'll be in a couple third downs. I think that he'll rack up and stack up some sacks, and I think that he'll be really entertaining, man. I love it. Next up, hot fire prediction number 9. JJ2K. Yes, I think it's happening. So Justin Jefferson flirted with 2,000 yards last year, came up a little bit short with 1,800 and change, but I think he goes over 2,000 this year. I think that he's going to be an unstoppable force somehow, some way. He looks better. I mean, in training camp, he legitimately looks better than we've ever seen Justin Jefferson. And also, Kirk and JJ, they do have a special chemistry, even though they're the odd couple. And second year in Kevin O'Connell's offense, I think the sky's the limit, man. And I think that he will be an MVP finalist along with Kirk Cousins. That's right. I feel like even though the odds... he's still 50-1 to win MVP, which I'm definitely putting a couple of jelly beans down on. I think Kirk, first off, I think the Vikings will have success. That's number 1 for MVP voting. I think Kirk is going to put up Lulu numbers. I think that Kirk is going to be a big reason why the Vikings have one of the top passing games in the league. I think the Vikings will be top 3 in passing. I think the Vikings will be top 4 or 5 in points scored. I think the Kirk Cousins... I think that public perception has changed with him because of Kirk Cochains last year and the Netflix documentary. I think that people are ready to embrace the Kirk. I think people unironically are going to be in on Kirk Cousins, and I think that he could get that MVP hype. Now, could he split some votes with JJ? Maybe, but I think that Kirk will be an MVP finalist with the Burrows of the world once he gets his cap straight, with Mahomes, with the Jalen Hurts, with the Josh Allens, with the Justin Herberts of the world. I think Kirk does make that podium as a finalist. But that's it. That's at 10 Hot Fire Vikings predictions after the first week of training camp. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.